Mr. Pfluger fill in a little bit of the personal nature of this, and then I look forward to hearing from the remainder of my colleagues from the Texas delegation. With that, I will yield to my friend from Texas.
Well, I thank my colleague and want to say that he's done a great job of representing in a very tough time. It's easy to lead when times are good, but when times are tough, you see character, and Mr. Roy has done a very nice job, an extraordinary job of leading in a very challenging situation. It's with heavy heart that I rise today to honor all of the lives that were lost during this devastating, tragic series of floods that swept through Central and West Texas last week, and to recognize the bravery and the selflessness of the heroes who stepped up when they were needed most. And I'll start by honoring the memory of the 11 lives that were lost from my district: Officer Bailey Martin, Bobby Martin, Amanda Martin, and Jada Floyd from Odessa, Sherry and Cody Crossland, and Joel, Kendall, and Tasha Ramos from Midland, Tonya Berwick from Blackwell, who worked in San Angelo for many years, and Steve Edwards from San Angelo. These lives were lost far too soon. These were selfless individuals, leaders, officers in the police force, and people that we will miss dearly. And we're going to continue to pray for the many more that we know, the lives that have been lost, and those for the families that are still searching for them, hoping and praying for a miracle. You know, I sent my young girls to Camp Mystic for a couple of reasons. Number one, because for young women, this was a place where they didn't have access to the digital world. They had access to relationships. They were taught about faith. They were placed in cabins with other young girls where they learned how to develop friendships. They learned things like horseback riding and archery, swimming and campcraft. And my girls are fourth generation campers at Camp Mystic. I learned about this when I was a kid and went to many closing ceremonies as a young child, watching my sister and her friends, and now having the opportunity to watch my own girls for the last 10 years attend this camp. And I want to say that my wife Camille and I are eternally grateful that we are reunited with my two daughters who were present at the camp during this tragedy. And while we rejoice their safety, and I will be forever grateful to God for sparing their lives, we are mourning and deeply grieving the many families who are having to say goodbye to their loved ones, to their daughters, up and down the river, campers who were there for the 4th of July to celebrate our nation's independence, to celebrate being with families. It's just unimaginable, the grief. And it's unimaginable, the heartbreak, especially those young kids and those young girls specifically at Camp Mystic. I want to honor Dick Eastland, who is the owner of Camp Mystic, a man that I've known my entire life, a man who gave his life trying to save campers at Camp Mystic. The Eastland family for years has poured their lives into young women, building these young women and these young ladies to be women of faith, to be women of character, to be citizens of this great nation, to raise families in a way that you saw the character and the strength of their faith. And you know, Dick Eastland and the entire Eastland family they're like many other families throughout this country that run camps, whether it be Boy Scout camps, Girl Scout camps, YMCA camps, summer camps, church camps, it doesn't matter. But these camps are important for our nation in a way that sometimes parents can't always do. These camps represent a place where these kids can come and they can learn how to be better citizens, how to be better friends, how to be better community members. And they're important. Camp Mystic was important. The image that I'll never forget in my mind as I walked the camp just 2 days after this tragedy is where my young daughter stood, getting away from the flood that was rising very rapidly, and where she had her head bowed, praying for safety. And as they were singing songs, knowing that there was a really tragic event unfolding in front of them, praying for their friends and for their safety. My middle daughter said that this was a family. Everybody knew everybody. And this family is deeply grieving right now. I hope that this serves as a wake-up call to our nation, that it serves as a wake-up call for us to congratulate and celebrate the countless heroes, some of whom gave their lives. We'll never know their stories. To celebrate the fact that we live in a country where we can freely worship, where we can stand firm on our faith. Camp Mystic was a place, like other places throughout this country, that taught that to these young, innocent souls, that taught them to lean on their faith, that taught them to lean on their friends and their relationships and their families, that taught them the core values of what this great country affords. And I hope that this serves as a wake-up call for all of us to get back to that foundation, that we can take a lesson from this tragedy and we can build on it in a way that we do good, that we honor the memory of almost 130 people now in rising, those that tragically lost their lives, that we won't ever forget. This green ribbon here serves as a reminder today. And again, I want to thank my friend Chip Roy for representing during this hard time and for calling this hour to recognize that memory, and I yield back.
Well, I think my friend from West